The name was Charlize Theron. But people got unease in pronouncing it, and therein lies the problem of their own. So they say things like Theron, but they're wrong, Charlize, they're wrong, and hence this song. Welcome to the Theronathon. We're gonna do the Theronathon. Take a bite and chew the Theronathon. Juicy like fondue, the Theronathon. Get a film review at the Theronathon. Woohoo, the Theronathon.
You are listening to Theronathon. This is episode 4. We're going to be talking about the fate of the Furious. And we've got a special guest for this episode, Mr. John Feitner.
How do you do?
I am Robin Hitchcock, and my co-hosts are...
Regina Connolly.
I'm Bob Shields.
Thank you. All right, let's do this.
So we're going to do our best not to spoil anything because we understand that everyone is going to see this movie, as well you should.
Yes. We will spoil the previous installments, probably.
What we've seen of them, which
I've only seen the first
There's
one.
a lot of driving, heisting and driving. No problem that cannot be solved without racing.
And spoiler, Charlize Theron is in it.
Correct.
Yes.
There's some quips, there's some good teeth. It's, you know, it's amazing.
All right, let's just start with summarize your feelings for this movie with one sound.
Yeah, let's open there. And John Feitner as our special guest. Do you feel comfortable doing that?
I've summarized my feelings with one sound.
Just everything about the movie in one sound.
Your emotional reaction.
The content of the movie.
I said, okay.
A one sound review.
One sound. Okay.
That was good.
How's
Amazing.
that for a sound?
That was great.
Yep, that was
All
great.
right, mine is
I think mine would probably just be joyous laughter. Just
we did a lot of that in the theater.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know if the other people in the theater were enjoying us or like, who are these assholes?
Some other people were joyfully laughing.
Yeah.
There was some applause for the people in front of us, but I think maybe the people behind us thought we were obnoxious.
And that guy was
Yeah.
kicking my chair, so
fuck
him.
So my sound for this would be boom yay.
Also, note that at least Regina and I both finger tented and clapped with our fingertips, which I also did regularly in the theater. In addition to just regular clapping. Like, this is a movie that just inspires pure joy that needs to be expressed in some way while it is going on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
The fact that there was not a standing ovation in the theater is a sad thing.
I mean, we saw it at Saturday at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
This is true.
I
Yeah.
assume like Saturday night, like there's just like champagne and ticker tape parade. Like people are like, yes, we saw this movie.
Okay, so let's just quickly note who here has seen which Fast and Furious movies. Feitner?
I have only seen Fast 5, which I wanted to get into the franchise. I heard it was amazing. Learning that is true. And when I Googled just ranked Fast Furious movies, Fast 5 was top one in basically every list that I saw.
It used to be the best one.
It's been blown out of the water with a submarine
Yes.
beneath it. Boof, get out of the way, Fast 5.
Would you actually say this one is better than Fast 5?
This is one of the best movies I've seen in a while.
Yes.
Yes.
As far as action movies, I mean, I don't know that I learned a lot about how the human race lives and
Hey, you
metaphors
did.
for how to live my life. I may have now that I think
It's
about it.
about family.
Family's important. Don't forget family.
So I've seen 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8.
All right.
I've
You
seen.
missed out number 4?
I don't even remember. I didn't even know what it was called. So that was the reboot post Tokyo Drift. Is that what it was?
I don't know if it was
Yes.
a reboot.
I
What
just
was it?
I mean,
missed
it's not
it.
necessarily a reboot, but
No,
it's
it's not
kind
a
of
reboot because it's the same cast. It was more like we're not doing spin-offs now. We're going back to the original characters.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see it, but I imagine it was a lot of those other movies didn't happen. Don't worry about Tokyo.
It was the
I know a character came back in.
Right,
Eventually,
and
like,
also
sure.
that's one thing I love about this franchise is that so Too Fast, Too Furious, Vin Diesel wouldn't come back, so they replaced him with Tyrese.
Yep.
And then I love that they don't discard those characters. That they're like, nope, you're in this now.
You're in this
It
with your
keeps getting
family.
bigger and bigger.
And they make Tyrese's character Roman like the butt monkey of everything.
Ugh.
It's like you made the second movie terrible. Now you're the
comic relief.
yes.
Oh my
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
Also, just those interactions generally of them like picking on him. Best parts of the movie.
Yes.
So delightful.
Although I was kind of happy when Scott Eastwood scion of Clint Eastwood, who, as Bob very accurately put it,
He looks like a CGI de-aged version of Clint Eastwood.
All motion capture.
Yeah, he was actually Clint Eastwood with dots on his face and a camera right in front of him.
to blur it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Clean up the audio later, get all that gravelness out of there.
Yeah.
It's stupid. So we looked up who his mom is. It's a flight attendant with weak genes.
I already forget what he looks like in the movie because as great as this movie was, he was the most boring element to it.
They clearly were like, unfortunately, our previous boring white guy died, so we've got to put a new person in that role, and they found another very bland white guy.
But they had so many to choose from. Like, this seems like, couldn't Chris Pines have done this part, and at least his eyebrows would have been more captivating?
That's true.
I think anyone could have done it, and I think he just needed a way to be introduced to the world. I'm sure he's done other movies, but this is the first time I was like, oh, look at little Eastwood trying to make his way in the world.
I think he was in Suicide Squad, but I have no memory of him.
I have no memory of that movie having been made. So.
What movie?
Don't worry about it. So, yeah, like, he makes Paul Walker seem like a very charismatic person.
I found Paul Walker charming. Also, R.I.P. Paul Walker.
I know, yeah, it is sad. I gotta say, though, I was kind of excited because they make fun of him constantly.
Tyrese,
which is
not Paul Walker.
No, sorry, Scott Eastwood.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, maybe Tyrese is gonna not be the butt monkey anymore. But, sorry, no. There's room for two.
Well, he got a lot of nice moments, Tyrese, making fun of him. Like,
That's true.
mocking his uptightness.
He's not at the bottom of the totem pole anymore.
Yeah. Just going back for 1 second. I have only seen Fast and the Furious. Full stop.
Yes, same here. I've only ever seen the very first one, which is basically Point Break with muscle cars.
Which is why it's amazing.
Which is why it's amazing. But this is very not just Point Break with muscle cars. This is there is a trajectory that I've entirely missed out on.
You need to go back and watch them all.
The franchise could have gone in 1,000 different ways from the original movie, and it has gone in a way that nobody would ever have predicted.
I wish that they had made 8 Point Breaks.
Speaking of Point Break, I think this is an excellent segue into my favorite recurring theme, segment, I don't know, whatever.
Who is Keanu?
What role should Keanu Reeves have played in The Fate of the Furious? And remember, you can choose from any era Keanu and put him wherever you need him to go. Probably Hitchcock. You go first this time.
The obvious answer is Point Break era Keanu replacing Scott Eastwood. Because that is essentially the role. He's replacing Paul Walker, who played Johnny Utah in Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
All right.
Paul Walker is, in fact, the blonde Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Or was.
What about you?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I would go further. I would say that Keanu Reeves would replace Jason Statham. Because
I don't know about that.
to have John Wick, like today's Keanu Reeves, John Wick style, doing the Jason Statham things that he does, I think that would be great.
See, I would put Keanu as Vin Diesel for John Wick reasons because it's like I'm this amazing person. Yes. All right, two for out of 4.
This is nothing against Vin Diesel. He does an excellent job.
Yeah.
You know, he stares and growls and beats things up the way that he should. Rips cars with his bare hands.
Yeah, when we cast Keanu, it's not casting aspersion on the person that he's replacing.
No, not at all. But are you retroactively casting Keanu in the other Fast and the Furious movies Vin Diesel was in?
That
that
literally is the
harder
Point
for
Break
me.
of muscle cars.
So
that's
maybe-
tricky.
So
for
that
me.
now that today Keanu Reeves becomes, the steely-eyed, I must save the world by being the villain.
Yeah.
The way that Vin Diesel has to.
The other role I considered was the very Nordic henchman of Charlize, because again, I kind of like the idea of Keanu and Charlize just like being pals and everything.
That
Working
is true.
together.
He doesn't get to play the heavy very often.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah,
We
in
will
our
find-
sequel podcast,
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's keep
we
the
are
focus
so ahead of ourselves.
on Charlize in this movie
Yes.
without giving away any plot points. My most important note is that I was way less upset by her hair in the movie than I was in the trailer.
Okay, so her hair, she has very thin white lady dreads. White people don't do that to your hair. It's appropriative.
She's a villain, so she has to have a thing that makes her appear.
She can get whatever
Instantly
she
you look at her
wants.
and go, I don't know if I like this person.
This person is culturally appropriating, therefore evil.
Yeah, she also
And she's appropriating, Vin Diesel from his team.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's rabbit hole just goes deeper, folks.
Yeah.
It's
But-
metaphor hair is what it is.
I also thought her hair looked terrible at the top of the movie when it was mostly down, and then this is not a spoiler, guys, for the rest
Spoilers.
of the movie she wears it half up, half down.
Oh god,
and
people are not going to go to the movie
Why should
now.
I bother to go?
Guys, just turn it off now. You ruined everything.
when it's half up, half down, it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I guess actually in the beginning it's in a ponytail rather than down, but
Yeah.
it looks bad. So yes, Charlize's hair, terrible, don't do it, but not as distracting as we thought it would be.
Yeah. I think that she didn't have as much to do in this movie as I would have liked for her to have been given, even though like she's the main villain. I was hungry for more backstory and purpose.
Well, it's the constant trap of like any action movie nowadays that because of all, we have to talk about cyber things and
Yeah.
how the villain can see through all cameras everywhere, that all villains end up in a room just telling people to type at keyboards.
I
And
gotta
she does
say,
a ton of that.
the hack off, like, it's just
Yeah.
never gonna be good movie.
The hack
Yeah.
off is just quip off. It's like, I'm talking about what I'm typing.
Oh,
I am
damn,
also-
she's good.
Right,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like, well done. We can't show any of this, but we can tell you it's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
They-
fingers are on the QWERTY, aren't they?
They also do their best to show, like, oh, this is the dynamic code, like things popping up on the screen and all this kind of stuff.
The animation that they do for their nonsense computering is
Yes.
actually decent.
I think it's pretty good,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, like that everyone had touchscreen keyboards, which no hacker on Earth would ever use.
Because, like, they
You hack the
get more...
keyboard.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jeez, guys. So
It's nothing but tab.
So of all the things in this movie that are unbelievable, the only thing that stood out to me where I was like, guys, I don't buy that, is a car dealership for a cheap Cherokee in Midtown Manhattan on the ground floor. I was like, that's never gonna happen. No one is going there to buy cars.
That's true.
We lived there, we know.
Yeah, drop.
I'm excited you guys have mentioned living in New York as much as I have mentioned living in South Africa.
I did it for you.
Thank you.
I'm from Northern Virginia. I never
Special
dropped that
guest.
anywhere.
Other Charlize movie thoughts.
I'm not as deep into the Charlize Theron world as you all are, but
We've watched 4 movies, so catch
but
up,
you've been
John.
focusing much more than I. Not that I've enjoyed her in many a film, but I was tuned to it this time, and I don't know if she is just or has already mastered the breathless villain dialogue. Because all the time in this movie, it was like she barely talked above a whisper,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the whole time. It was
Can
just,
you imitate it?
Yes, you can. We're all staring at him to make him super comfortable.
Okay.
You know, in this life, all of us have a choice: the choice to be us, or the choice to be the ones to find out who we are.
That is what she sounds like,
That
but
is
more
exactly.
feminine.
Yeah.
Oh, slightly more
We did learn a lot about choice theory in this.
feminine.
Yeah.
They said the word choice more than fate.
I think
But
we did.
they-
Oh,
But-
the beautiful fate dialogue she had right at the beginning.
Oh,
They
lovely.
they took care of it.
Her
out
first
of the
scene is
gate.
like, we had mentioned fate 5 times, and she, in one sentence, gives just the summation of the movie. With they're gonna have to face the worst person they've ever faced in the world. You.
She was
Yeah,
like, I'm
she-
giving you an elevator pitch
Yeah.
for why I'm kidnapping you.
She gives the narration for the trailer in the first 5 minutes.
And she does it beautifully.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as like tired dialogue or, well, we need to shoehorn this in there. She's like, yeah, I'm saying this because this is the thing that my character says at this moment.
Yeah, here's the exposition. Expertly exposited.
Yeah.
With steely eyes.
I think the only thing for me that was missing is a hand-to-hand fight scene with her. And I know that that's not necessarily part of the character,
Mhm.
but the trailer for Atomic Blonde was before this movie. Maybe it whet my appetite
And we
for
just
that.
watched Eon Flux.
Yeah, I just wish that she had gotten to at least punch someone in the face.
I was expecting her to have to fight Michelle Rodriguez, but
I was really
maybe-
glad that didn't happen.
I was kind of expecting. I was like, it seems like
It
an
makes-
It's
obvious
definitely, that
connection.
is like the
Yeah.
typical screenplay way to
Right,
go. Is
yeah.
that eventually they have to face it down.
Yeah. So
Oh,
maybe,
because of the, like, you fucked
You
with
kiss
my
my
man.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, because I would have liked to see her fight Ramsey, who's the team hacker.
But you did, I mean, you're so good at typing.
Yeah.
I'm so good at typing. Guys, she did fight. She
Yeah,
fought with her
the
powers.
keyboard fought.
I
It was
also
fine.
so I don't know how many movies Ramsey has been in. She was in the 7th one, which I was not paying enough attention to know if they introduced her character. But I want her to get to drive a car or fight someone at some point.
I don't know because I haven't seen any of the other
Right.
ones, so I didn't necessarily miss that because I felt like she was integral enough to the plot, and also there were like so many people to choose from.
Yeah.
I was glad that I did not see Charlize fight because I kind of like a villain like her who's like, I'm just the smartest person in the world. It's
And
essentially what her evil power is.
And you so rarely see women play that role.
right. And
There's
I,
that
That's true.
male version all the time.
right.
Yeah, Die Hard 4
Typically, yeah.
was the same movie.
Typically, the greatest actor in the world is some fella.
Yeah.
And I also like if someone is like, hey, I do have a superpower. I don't need to also go to the gym all the time and learn how to kick people in the face. They're just like, no, I don't have to do that.
I'm pretty sure she goes to the gym all the time. Look at that body.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of like, I like a villain that is villainous in a specific way and not also have to be a badass.
Yeah.
And
We gotta
this-
save it up for Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah. Time we get to Fast 10, your seatbelts, then there'll probably be a fist fight between.
You can't see because this is recorded, but we are all putting our hands up in the air like we just don't care.
But we care a lot because that was great. Who do we have to talk to make that the title?
Hopefully F. Gary Gray, I hope that he becomes the new stable director
Yeah,
for this.
Yeah,
well
he
done,
becomes-
him.
Yeah, the new Justin Lin.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because the action sequences were pretty much all solid. You knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't get nauseous, and we saw it in IMAX, and I was like, I'm not overwhelmed. I mean, we saw, in addition to the Atomic Blonde trailer, there was the Transformers in medieval times trailers, whatever that is. And just
Yeah.
watching the trailer, Robin after was like, I need a nap. That was too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was some, I know this sounds like completely false, but there was a degree of restraint
Mhm.
to
Oh,
the
yeah.
action sequences in this movie
Sure.
that made them so much more effective
So-
because
But each is also its own thing.
Right.
It's not just,
Yeah.
here's another car race because we have to throw cars in again.
There was ultimately really only one car race, and I was fine with that as well.
There's 2 races.
you
there was
mean
one race.
a quarter
There was-
mile at a time kind of race, although
Yeah,
they did
drag
specify that it was a Cuban,
Cuban mile.
which is a kilometer.
I guess.
It's just equal for everyone if it's a Cuban mile, okay? Everyone gets their own share.
I gotta say, this is not a spoiler really, it's in the first scene of the movie. They're in Cuba, and it's all classic cars, because
It's beautiful.
that's what it's like in Cuba, apparently. I've never been, but
Yeah.
they didn't have modern cars for a long time because of the embargo, so...
What was amazing about this movie is, you're right, it starts in Cuba and it is all classic cars, and even the first car chase of this movie is the most ridiculous car chase I've ever seen, and everything from there on ramps up. Like, that is the least ridiculous car chase in the movie,
Right.
but the most ridiculous car chase I'd ever seen
I was
up
gonna
until
say,
that
I saw
point.
that opening sequence, and when it ends, it could end as it could just be a short film. Like they just made
Yeah.
a tiny Fast and Furious, just for like we just decided to do a 12-minute Fast and Furious.
Open a
Here
Pixar
it is.
movie with it.
And as soon as it was done, I said, "Well, roll credits." Like how do you outdo what that just was? And my
They
God,
found
They
it.
did.
they find numerous ways to keep ranching it up.
One of the other things I thought was interesting is, like in the Matrix sequels, when the fight scenes got too ridiculous, it just cut to all CGI people. In this one, when the car chases got too ridiculous, it cut to all CGI cars. And so when you saw, like, all the cars racing through New York, you're like, oh, that's all video game graphics. Or, like, when all the
Yeah.
things were
I
racing
did
across
not
the ice.
detect that.
It was well done.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
it.
checked it, but it was better done. I mean, it's
Yeah.
cars. That's
I
the
mean-
hardest thing to recreate.
Intellectually, I knew they couldn't be doing this.
Right.
But
I couldn't shut down a New York street and then fill it with that many cars.
Yeah.
they could do that, but they couldn't do it. No spoilers. They couldn't do it the way they did it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, I think like part of the thing that convinced me, I didn't need a lot of convincing. This movie was great, but in terms of like the action sequences making sense and being enjoyable, is they found a way to make a car tethered to other cars like actually dynamic, and you're like, how's he gonna
Suspenseful.
get out of it? And I was
Right.
like, he
Yeah,
just
it's
got a bunch of
genuinely
ropes on
tense,
him,
yeah.
and like the way that he figures out how to get it, like you see the decision making process
Yeah.
rather than just like, oh, then he's free and we're moving on. Like,
I mean, you see how that sequence ends in the trailer. This is how this can
Oh,
happen. It's
yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
even watching it, I was like, "This is thrilling. He is trapped. How will he get out of this?"
Yeah.
And I know exactly how he's going to get out of it, but it's put together very well.
the
I
momentum
cannot-
of it is great.
Okay, guys. I cannot believe that we've made it 20 minutes into this podcast
Well,
without
no.
talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh,
That's true. How did we do that?
Goodness.
Because he is the hidden weapon of this series. I think did he come in Fast 5?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell, but it seemed like an introduction to him.
He is such a delight every time he comes on screen. I think we finger tented. We were like, he's here again with his perfect teeth and his delightful quips.
He is just so good. It's a shame almost. It sort of reminded me, this is a weird comparison, of Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, where it's like, that's a great movie, but it suffers from him not being in the second two parts of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it's like, oh, well, this is great still, but it's not as good as it was with that guy on the screen.
yeah.
So all of the Rockless scenes, I missed him.
Well, I felt like
I somewhat disagree.
Okay.
I will give great respect to these films for they keep piling on new characters
And managing it.
because I loved Jason Statham in it so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And with the two of them bantering, like, I actually think it was effective to keep Dwayne The Rock Johnson away from Vin Diesel in most of the scenes.
Sure.
Because I'm like, you're both really good, but when you're both in a scene together, there's a clear
yeah.
winner.
Well, Regina, you don't like knowing things about actors in real life, but they did that on purpose because they hate each other.
Yeah. They apparently had
Oh.
a huge falling out with each
Yeah.
other.
Oh, guys.
So that is
Guys.
on purpose. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to go back to the part that was fun for me.
Like the world is only room for one giant bald-headed man.
But The Rock is like so much bigger than him. Which is probably why he hates him.
I saw Vin Diesel in person.
Drone.
They were filming The Last Witch Hunter,
Which is really good.
which is a very fun film. They
Is he
filmed it.
short?
He is fairly short. He's shorter
Yeah.
than you think. I mean, you see everyone in movies; they look like giants. But I am to slightly defend him 6'4", but I saw him by a foot away from me, and I was like, oh, I'm way taller than
Did
you.
you tuck him under your shoulder? Like, I'll buy you
Come on,
coffee,
carried him
buddy.
away. But yeah, he carries himself a much bigger man than he is in person. But that's true of so many movie people.
But Dwayne The Rock Johnson is
Which,
not short.
He's a monster.
He's
So-
a mountain of
A delightful monster.
Well, I was just
He's
going to
the
say,
best.
the scene between him and Jason Statham, because, like, I also delight in Jason Statham because I love dumb action movies, and, like, him in The Spy is just the most fun ever. And seeing the two of them banter in prison, I'm like, I felt like credits could have rolled there. I would watch 2 hours of them just being
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we're in a cell, not able to reach each other. I would watch 2 hours.
Guys, minor spoiler here, but this movie does illustrate my dad's quote, which he said after we watched Face Off: every movie can be improved by a prison riot.
Oh man, should we add
Fair
that
enough.
as a regular feature? Could this movie have been improved with a prison riot? And where would you put it in the sequence?
Yes.
Stay tuned for the next episode where we try this out.
How would you improve 2 Days in the Valley
With
a
a
prison
prison
riot?
I feel like there are multiple opportunities. There
Yeah.
were so many scenes that were isolated weirdness. Why not just have one?
I just
Yeah.
want to see. I want to see Jason Spader.
James
Spader.
James, that's the one. Tiny Palette escape from a prison before the movie starts.
Why not?
Yeah, I would have watched that.
And
That
it
would
would
have
help
improved
them.
that movie.
It would have helped them with their 36 hours in the valley problem.
Yeah, it was not
There you
2
go,
full
yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Also, Charlize could have helped to break him out because she would have been his woman on the outside. He would have been inside, and she would have been like, "I'm getting you out."
And we could have had a whole other white outfit.
Yes.
All right.
All right, your dad proven right once again.
So I guess our other regular feature is Ebert or Meebert, but rest in peace. Roger Ebert has been dead for several years now, so he did not review this movie. At least not in a way that we can access without a Ouija board.
Did he review any of the franchise?
Oh, I bet he did. All right. You guys are going to chat for a while I pull up Roger
But continuing
Ebert's
on
original review.
the path of how just everyone is quite enjoyable. This is a tiny segment from my future podcast of Let's Get Ready to Rustle, where I talk about all Kurt Russell movies.
Oh my god, yes!
I did not see the last movie. I understand he was in Fast and Furious 7, so that's where they introduced Mr. Nobody. But he is such a wonderful delight.
Yes.
It's just I am the government agent who has to just spout exposition of who is this person, why they matter to the world, and I'm going to set all the precedents of danger. But mostly it's a movie where he's just messing around with little baby Eastwood.
Yes.
He just shows up and he's like, I got a twinkle in my eye. I'll see you in the next scene, guys. Bye.
But he definitely sounds like, all of his dialogue sounds like he's, as Kurt Russell, joking with how he is trying to help little baby Eastwood get into movies. Like, this guy, he's still figuring out the ropes. He doesn't know the rules yet. This little son of a gun.
Another person in the movie that I would always like to see more of is Michelle Rodriguez. She is great in this movie and in every movie that she's in.
True.
And I feel like I would watch a supercut of her and Vin Diesel having meaningful eyes at each other out of windows, because that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
But she's so great.
Sure.
She should be in more movies.
Although I'll say controversial, but perhaps Charlize Theron is the one person who's maybe on the lowest on the totem pole here.
Wait,
I don't know if she was
what?
as enjoyable in this movie as other characters.
Oh,
to me.
like-
it's not no fault of her own. She has 2 great villain monologues that she nails, just knocks them out of the park. But because there's so much of her just sitting in a room telling henchmen to type on keyboards and stop
That
them
is
now.
true. Yeah, that is true. She's
I can't see them. I need more eyes.
You're the best hacker in the world, ma'am. Perhaps you could do it.
Yeah,
She only does one bit of her own hacking.
Hey, she lets
Spreads out
everyone
her
make their
hacking.
choice, and their choice is to work for her.
Yeah, maybe she wrote the programs they're using to do all the hacking for her.
I suppose.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I think they needed to give her more to do. I think, like everyone else, had moments of levity or charm or delightfulness that they were granted because they were good guys, or Kurt Russell, also a good guy. But I think because she was the supervillain.
Yeah, they could have flashed back to like a Steve Jobs style in her garage, like with the Scandinavian guy just working on programs and he's doing target practice or something. Like, but there was no fleshing out of her character at all. She was just they alluded to her having been responsible for everything that happened in the previous movies, which may or may not be a spoiler. Not really, because that's all they say about it. But yeah, there wasn't really anything about her.
But I think she brings up, if you put anyone else in the role as that character, it's going to be Snoozeville. Like, the first thought in my head is like Timothy Oliphant from
Die
Hard
4.
4? Because it's the same
It's the same
character.
basic idea. I control computers and I do computer things, and you're just like, go away.
Yeah.
And I love Timothy Oliphant, but like, it's a know-nothing, boring, this movie is
Or it's
wasted. But, if you put Charlize Theron in there, it is up a level, but like, she can't do enough interesting heavy lifting to make it anything more than...
She's
That's a
tap
solid-
dancing on nothing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I've got my Ebert or Mebert.
Okay.
Okay.
This is about the original Fast and the Furious. It has some of the grandiose, self-pitying dialogue we've treasured in movies like this ever since Rebel Without a Cause.
I'm going to say Ebert.
Yep, Ebert.
I don't know this game, so I'm going to say Mebert.
It was Ebert. I did not have time to come up with a mimic thing. But I do also have a sub-question. Did he mention Point Break in his review?
Yes.
He must have.
Sure.
He did not.
What?
Can you believe that Roger Ebert mentioned Rebel Without a Cause, but not Point Break
But I'm
in the original Fast and the Furious
It's
review?
obviously Point Break.
I know.
Maybe he thought it was too obvious to be worth saying, guys. Let's give him some credit. He
Or
was
maybe-
like, I'm going to find a more esoteric tie-in.
Or maybe he thinks Point Break is more like Rebel Without a Cause, and therefore he just skipped a step.
Although the question is, does he respect Point Break?
I'm
imagine
gonna
he
find
must.
out.
I imagine he must or might.
Also, how many stars do you think he gave it?
Fast and the Furious?
Mm-hmm.
2.
2.5.
2, 3.
I mean, it's a good movie, guys.
I've not seen it.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for it.
It's alright.
It's all right.
So I do not know cars
It's
in
no
any shape, form, or
Point Break.
fashion, so I was not attracted to it.
Yeah.
But as soon as they started going, we're just going to be James Bond with cars, which James Bond is about cars, but doing it 10 times better than James Bond would.
Oh, he definitely 3.5 for Point Break, which is correct, and that's why I love Roger Ebert so much. Is that he
Loves the right movie.
He gets it.
he gets it.
Well, I think
He
that
got it. Rest in peace.
the thing that you said after the movie,
What, that it out Mission Impossible Mission Impossible?
I think that is the way, like, this is the franchise that reminds me the most of that franchise. Like, I feel like not
Yes.
James Bond, it's Mission Impossible with cars.
Yeah.
Sure,
In
sure.
And similarly, like, Mission
More of a
Impossible was
team.
like, we're doing one thing, and then they hit a certain movie, they're like, we're gonna do something different from here on out.
Yeah.
Like, the current Mission Impossible is very different from the first one.
Yeah, that's true. They had the same thing where they had like one singular movie, then they had a terrible misstep of a second movie.
That's true.
And then in the third one, they kind of found their groove, and then they've just been coasting ever since.
And there's more comedy in this one than I remember there being in the first Fast and the Furious. I felt like the first Fast and the Furious was a bit more like, we've got some car chases and some nice butt shots. Check out these ladies' butts.
You're right.
Yeah.
There were
Well,
some
I mean,
nice butt shots in this movie.
Yeah, it started
I
off
like-
with a lot of them.
Yes.
And I like that they were like,
People-
hey guys, remember?
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna go back to the movie. Like, they did not, it wasn't butts for 2 hours.
People do not wear pants in Cuba, is what we learned.
Apparently, yeah.
No, not
No wonder
needed.
Not for a Cuba mile.
All right, so unfortunately, we got to wrap up because we've got live. Thank you so much for joining us,
We have
guys.
to rank.
Thank you, John.
Oh, that's right.
shit,
Oh, one
son.
more important feature.
We're gonna rank every single movie that we've seen, and since there's still only 4, we're still gonna list all of them. Robin, would you like to go first this time?
This is definitely my new number one.
All right, so do them all.
So I'm at number 1, Fate of the Furious. Number 2, 2 Days in the Valley. Number 3, Aeon Flux. Number 4, Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest.
So,
Well, no wonder it's in the first, and that's all you've done so far.
So my list is exactly the same as Robin's because we put Aeon Flux in the same place, and
Correct.
this is definitely the most fun I've had watching a Charlize movie since we
So
started
far.
doing this.
yeah. Well, my list remains different. Number 1, Fate of the Furious. Number 2, Aeon Flux. 3, 2 Days in the Valley. And 4, knocking it all the way out of the top 3 for the first time ever.
Yay!
Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest. Where will you land ultimately? We will wait.
We don't know.
Can there possibly be anything worse in her career?
Look,
Hey, I'm full of hope that there could be worse things. I don't know. That's a weird thing to hope for, but it would at least be a twist. If
Yes.
That's not always the least favorite movie.
all right, so we are out of time. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our guest, John Feitner.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Alex Reed, for our theme song. It is delightful. Thank you, Bob Shields and Robin Hitchcock.
And
for
Regina
coming over.
Connolly.
And most importantly,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Charlize.
Charlize.
And now you've heard the Theronathon. Every word of the Theronathon. It just occurred, the Theronathon. I hope your heart was stirred by the Theronathon. And that your kitties purred at the Theronathon. Your curiosity spurred by the Theronathon. You're turning into a nerd for the Theronathon. And if you're flipping the bird at the Theronathon, we are undeterred at the Theronathon. We're eating yogurt and curd at the Theronathon.
Regina, you didn't make your sound.
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
make my sound. My sound
that
would
it?
be no. No, that's not my sound either. Guess what movie that was? Robin, you would know.
Hang on. It was Italian Job.
I haven't seen that. I was just kidding.